Welcome back. Now, February 13, 2022 marks the 11th commemoration of World Radio Day, and Namibia is one of the countries with a wide and engaged radio audience. In the build-up to the 12th World Radio Day celebrations, we will be hosting a series of interviews with various radio managers, key stakeholders, and industry players within the radio fraternity to touch on the raising alert on radio to avoid escalating conflict, propaganda and hate speech is the manager of NBC Water FM, Kosmas Muyenga. A very good evening, Mr. Muyenga. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me.
All right. Now, Mr. Muyenga, what are some of the causes of conflict, propaganda and hate speech when it comes to radio?
First of all, in general, conflict, propaganda, and hate speech, they are real. One really needs to understand the meaning of these concepts. In my view, not all conflicts are destructive. One can have positive one, which you can experience and learn from it in life and move forward. Not all propaganda are negative, but they are positive ones, especially those propaganda meant to uplift the general welfare of the community. But this concept, it's having a negative connotation. And as media practitioners, we should be sensitive when reflecting, explaining, and expanding with other sources what is termed to be hate speech, and in most cases, where necessary, to avoid hate speech on air because it is counterproductive. Well, they are happening in an environment. It can be at working places, it can be between countries, it can be between generations, within yourself. You can also have conflict within a relationship. But the key thing is what is really causing conflict within a story. It is obvious when we as media practitioners are biased and partially, and we don't ask really the key questions within the story, the what, the who, the when, where, and how. When we don't ask these questions, it can lead to misunderstanding. When we don't ask these questions, it can create conflict and also hate speech. To avoid that, it is expected of us as media practitioners also to continuously being trained and to be developed to do our work professionally.
All right. Mr. Muyenga, kindly just talk to us on the importance of having programs that raise alert on radio to avoid escalating conflict, propaganda, and hate speech.
Yeah, public broadcaster institutions, including NBC radio services, they are having the mandate. In our case, our mandate is to inform, educate, entertain, and to generate, to some extent, own income. We do this so that we can have peace, unity, and development. It is also expected of us to have targeted, audience-driven programs like news and current affairs, the one which we are having now, discussion program, drama, and then open line. These are the programs really that we really need to have.
All right. And how do the programs that you currently have on Water FM address social issues at community level and promote peace while illustrating a dialogue?
I should mention, first of all, that for the interest of our listeners, on Water FM currently right now, it is really not a potential of conflict. We are broadcasting in three main languages. It is diversity, in fact. Programs, open lines, news and current affairs. We have entertainment programs, We have also those programs we are announcing the departed of our loved ones locally here on a daily basis from Monday up to Sundays. And these programs are really not only on Wato FM, one can also have this program on other radio services. Listeners, I should just add that listeners and sources and various stakeholders are participating in these programs.
And how important is it that the radio connects to the rural population with the government as well as the relevant stakeholders that you just mentioned now?
Our narrative on radio, in most cases, are in line with the situation on the ground. We talk to various leaders at regional level, at national level. We talk to the business community. We talk to educational authorities, health institutions, and various stakeholders, the youth and then the unemployed. It is expected that radio here should play the role of connecting these various stakeholders. In the rural setting, radio is speedily effective and efficient when connecting these messages and alerts among the various stakeholders.
All right. Mr. Muyenga, we will be celebrating World Radio Day next week, Monday, the 13th of February. Kindly just talk to us about some of the activities that NBC Water FM has set to take place on the day.
Yes, coming to the activities before this program when I came on air, I just did the same yesterday on Water FM of alerting our listeners about World Radio Day, its importance, its relevancy. And then on Monday, when we are going to celebrate, on Wato FM again, we are going to have a live panel discussion whereby we are going to engage with our various stakeholders. The reason why we are going to do that is for us also to hear from them. What do they think about Wato FM in particular, in general, the role of radio services?
All right. Mr. Muyenga, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Kosmas Muyenga there, who is the manager of Water FM, talking to us, giving us insight on radio, on the raising alerts of radio in